know the Bible and the power of God? Do you read the Bible for your daily bread? Don't be taken in by all the lies you hear around. Do the Bible get your feet on solid ground?
Welcome to another St Lawrence Kids Club. My name's Claire and this is Philip. And Philip is getting quite excited. Why are you getting excited, Philip? Because it's nearly Easter. So what are you excited about? Everything. It's nearly holiday time. Soon we'll be able to have 6 people and meet them in the garden or in the park. Yay! Easter eggs. You don't like Easter eggs, do you? Can frogs eat chocolate? I thought you just ate bugs. Oh, chocolate's on special occasions like Easter. That's why you're really looking forward to it. Well, that's all very exciting, looking forward to Easter. But is there anything else you're looking forward to? Hot cross buns, more food. You're very, very greedy. Wow. Hot cross buns. Do you know when we normally eat hot cross buns? As soon as they're in the shops, often straight after Christmas. But when are we supposed to eat them? You're absolutely right. Good Friday. There's a cross on them. And Good Friday has something to do with a cross, a lot to do with a cross. And that's why we eat hot cross buns, particularly on Good Friday. I have actually got a song about Good Friday. And that's what we're going to be looking at for the first bit of this session. We're going to look at Good Friday. And then we're going to look at something that happened on the Sunday after Good Friday. Yeah, I thought you'd probably know the story, but maybe the boys and girls don't. And if they do, it's always a good time to remember what happened on the first Good Friday. So let's listen to this song now.
It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died for me. Jesus cried out, he had become sin for you and me. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died for me. The curtain in the temple tore in two. No more, no entry, it's open. Jesus waves us through. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause Good Friday means I'm alright. It's Good Friday 'cause Jesus died for me. Surely this man was the Son of God. So why is he dead? That Roman must have thought it very odd. It was a bad Friday, a mad Friday, a sad Friday, but I'm glad today, 'cause
It's a very odd thing, isn't it, to be called Good Friday when that's the day that Jesus died. That's very strange. But there were some reasons in the song, you're right, as to why we call it Good Friday. It was still a very sad day, but it was a very good Friday. And we're going to watch this video now, which maybe helps explain a bit about why we call it Good Friday.
Zonderkids presents the Jesus Storybook Bible. Every story whispers his name. Written by Sally Lloyd-Jones and read by David Suchet. The sun stops shining.
"So you're a king, are you?"
The Roman soldiers jeered.
"Oh, then you'll need a crown and a robe."
They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him.
"Oh, your majesty,"
they said. Then they whipped him and spat on him. They didn't understand this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign,
"Our king,"
and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. They nailed Jesus to the cross.
"Father, forgive them,"
Jesus gasped.
"They don't understand what they're doing." "You say you've come to rescue us,"
people shouted.
"You can't even rescue yourself."
But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he'd called.
"If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down off that cross,"
they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop, like when he healed that little girl and stilled the storm and fed 5,000 people. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa!" Jesus cried, frantically searching the sky. "Papa! Where are you? Don't leave me!" And for the first time, and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook. Rocks split in two until it seemed that the whole world would break. The creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children, whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted out in a loud voice, "It is finished!" And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb, carved out of rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking.
"Ah, that's the end of Jesus,"
the leaders said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? Very sad. Very sad. But Jesus did that so that we can be God's friends forever. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, you think the boys and girls might like to make a craft? Well, I think that's a very good idea. Shall we see what we can make? Now, Easter is a really good time to send cards to people to wish for a happy Easter. And so I've made this rather fun card. I think it's quite fun. In the middle, it's got a cross. But all around it, it's got lots of lovely colours. So even though the cross was a sad time, it was also an amazingly good time for us because it means we can be God's friends forever. So what you need for this craft is a piece of card. Now this is a piece of half A4 card. So if you've got some A4 card, cut it in half. So you get that. And then you fold it in half again. So it's card sized and shape. Then what you need to do is to cut out a cross shape like this. You might need a grown-up to help you with that. And then you need to put that somewhere in the middle of your card. Make sure it's on the right side so that it opens up the right way. You put your writing inside it. You might want a little piece of blue tack or something like that just to keep it in place because you want to keep it still. And then you will need some pens or some crayons, anything, your favourite colours. And then what you do, keeping your cross nice and still, you just start colouring over like that. Don't worry about the cross in the middle. I've done lines, you could do anything, any pattern, but you want to cover all of the area around the cross. Got some blue. Keep colouring in. Obviously this is very scruffy because I'm not really looking at it very well, am I? And can you see already? You can see the pattern coming in behind. Now, I think the scruffy look is actually quite good, but you might want to do it really, really neatly, and that's fine as well. And then what you end up with, once you've removed your cross, is a pattern like that. And you can colour in the edges any colours as well. But also, I think that's quite fun. You're left with a cross with quite a fun pattern on it. So why not make another card and stick that on the middle of a piece of coloured card to make another Easter card for somebody else. So that will remind you that Jesus died on the cross, and that was a really good time for us because it means we can be God's friends forever. Have fun making it. Now, do you know what? You are a very, very intelligent frog, Philip. You know. Okay. You're also a bit of a smug and arrogant frog. But you're right. How do we know that we can be God's friends forever just because Jesus died? How do we know it worked? And you know the answer to that as well. Not just a good question, a good answer. Because of what happened next. So let's watch this video to find out what happened.
Zonderkids presents the Jesus Storybook Bible. Every story whispers his name. Written by Sally Lloyd-Jones and read by David Suchet. God's wonderful surprise. Jesus' friends were sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer, the king God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes, but whoever said anything about the end? Just before sunrise, on the third day, God sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven. When the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled the huge stone away, sat on top of it, and waited. At the first glimmer of dawn, Mary Magdalene and other women headed to the tomb to wash Jesus' body. The early morning sun slanted through the ancient olive trees. Drops of dew glittering on leaves and grasses, little tears everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path through the olive groves until they reached the tomb, and immediately noticed something odd. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark tomb. But wait, Jesus' body was gone. And something else. A shining man was there with clothes made from lightning. "Don't be scared," the angel said. But they couldn't help it. They screamed anyway. The angel asked them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The women couldn't speak. "Jesus isn't dead anymore," he said. "He's alive again." And their hearts leapt, and then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt for a moment as if they had woken from a nightmare. The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could it be true? Jesus was definitely dead. How could he be alive? Just then, Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it's the gardener, she thought. He'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I can't find him." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he had found her. Mary. Only one person said her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping. She turned around. She could just make out a figure. She shaded her eyes to see, and thought she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was seeing Jesus. Mary fell to the ground. Sudden tears filled her eyes, and great sobs shook her whole body, and all she wanted in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let him go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later, Mary," Jesus said gently, "and always be close to me. But now go and tell the others that I'm alive." Mary ran and ran all the way to the city. She had never run so fast or so far in all her life. She felt she could have run forever. She didn't even feel like her feet touched the ground. The sun seemed to be dancing and gleaming and bounding across the sky, racing with her and shining brighter than she could ever remember in the clear, fresh air. And it seemed to her that morning, as she ran, almost as if the whole world had been made anew, almost as if the whole world was singing for joy. The trees, tiny sounds in the grass, the birds. Her heart Was God really making everything sad come untrue? Was he making even death come untrue? She couldn't wait to tell Jesus' friends. "They won't believe it," she laughed. She was right, of course.
How do we know that we can be God's friends forever? Because Jesus died for us on the cross? Because he didn't stay dead. He came alive again. And people saw him alive and touched him. He really was dead, and then he really was alive. That is fantastic. It's brilliant. Mary, when she met him, was so happy. But it wasn't just Mary. Lots of his friends met him. And do you know what? The Bible tells us that at one time, 500 people met him at the same time. And the person who wrote that, a man called Paul, said, if you want to check, a lot of them are still alive, so go and ask them. Wow. So we can be really sure that Jesus died and rose again so that we can be God's friends forever. Yeah, that's really good news. Now, were you watching? Have you been listening? Because we've got a little quiz for you now to see how much you have understood and how much you remember. Let's see how you get on. So we're going to have an Easter quiz to see how much you know about the first Easter. So here's some questions. At Easter, we remember answer number 1, the birth of the Easter bunny. Answer number 2, the discovery of the first Easter egg in the wild. Or answer number 3, the death and resurrection of Jesus. Have a think about it. Which do you think is the right answer? I'll tell you the answers in a moment. What do you think? Now, why do we call the Friday Jesus died Good Friday? Is it because Jesus died so we can be forgiven and God's friends forever? Because we get to eat hot cross buns? Or because it is the start of the Easter holiday weekend and we get a day off work and school? All quite good answers. And why did Mary go to Jesus' grave on the Sunday morning? Was it to meet Jesus? To look after Jesus' dead body? Or to look for Easter eggs? And then the last question, why was Jesus' body not there? Was it because she'd gone to the wrong grave? Because the body had been stolen? Or because Jesus was alive? Now remember which answers you gave and let's find out whether they were right, whether you agree with the other people in your family. So at Easter we remember, it's not the birth of the Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny is just a fun thing, isn't it? I don't think the Easter Bunny was ever really born. The discovery of the first Easter egg in the wild, I'm pretty sure that chocolate eggs are made in factories. And that beautiful coloured eggs, the hen's eggs, are first just ordinary eggs and then are coloured in. So what we remember is the death and resurrection of Jesus, which is far, far better. Much, much better. And actually that's why we have Easter eggs, because we remember the resurrection of Jesus when he came back to life. We look at an egg and it looks like a little stone, but inside that egg is a new baby chick waiting to be born. So it reminds us of resurrection. So why do we call the Friday Jesus died Good Friday? That's a very good question, isn't it? Because Good Friday, somebody dying, that's really bad. Yeah, well, the answer is because Jesus died so we can be forgiven and God's friends forever. We might also get to eat hot cross buns, which are delicious. And wonderfully, we also get a day off work and school. But that's because what happened on Good Friday was so fantastic. Because Jesus died so we can be forgiven and God's friends forever. That's why we have a day off school and off work. And why did Mary go to Jesus' grave on the Sunday morning? Was it because she knew Jesus was going to be alive and meet him? No, she wasn't expecting that, because she went to look after Jesus' dead body. And I know on Easter Sunday morning we might go for Easter egg hunts and look for Easter eggs. But she found something far more exciting. First of all, she went to look after Jesus' dead body and was feeling very sad. But the last question, why was Jesus' body not there? She hadn't gone to the wrong grave. She knew where he was buried. The body hadn't been stolen. They could never show it later on. It hadn't been stolen. It was because Jesus was alive. And Mary met Jesus alive. That was far better than loads and loads of Easter eggs. Her friend was alive forever. And it showed that he really had died for us so we can be God's friends forever and live with Jesus in heaven after we die too. Wow, what fantastic news. How did you do? I think they were quite easy questions, weren't they? I think we all know really that even though we like the Easter Bunny and Easter eggs, actually Easter's all about Jesus. And without Jesus, we wouldn't have Easter. We only have Easter eggs and hot cross buns because of Jesus. So remember that when you're on your next Easter egg hunt. Now, if you watch this in the next few days, don't forget that we have got an Easter egg trail hunt about the Easter story in the St. Lawrence graveyard, churchyard, happening from after school on Wednesday. So come along, join in. There's a QR code, it's all very cool, and follow the story signs and the eggs around the churchyard. And there might be a little prize at the end for you. So you get the Easter story and eggs. That's pretty cool. Oh, you think you've been sitting down too long and you're a frog and you need to bounce a lot. Okay. You think there should be a game? Yeah. Okay. What game do you think would be good? Well, we did musical bumps not long ago with you and you were brilliant because you are a frog and you like bouncing. Any other ideas? That's a good one. Musical statues. Should we see if we can do that with the boys and girls doing it at home? That's a great idea. I think Philip's idea was really good to play a game of musical statues. So that's what we're going to do now. Now, Philip reckons he's going to do it because he loves dancing rather enthusiastically and he thinks you might laugh. So he's going to do that off camera if that's okay with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to some music, and when the music stops, I'm going to tell you what statue I would like you to be. It's something from the story, okay? So the music's going to play, and while the music's playing, I'll give you something to be when the music stops. Okay, here we go. So this time, I would like you to be one of Jesus's friends at the bottom of the cross. Think how they might have been feeling. Yeah, that's really good. Some very good sad and some still statues. So next time I've got to remember as well to be the action, but also to be really still because it's supposed to be musical statues. Right, next time I would like you to be a soldier guarding Jesus's tomb, his grave. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think a soldier would have to stand very still anyway, wouldn't they? And they guarded that tomb really well. Nobody's going to steal that body. But if you remember, they went down faint when the angel came. And Jesus rose from the dead. Amazing. Next time, I would like you to be Mary seeing Jesus alive again. Wow. Mary must have been amazed and really happy because she hadn't expected to see Jesus alive again, and there he was. Right, the last one. I would like you you don't have to be still for this one, but during the dancing, I'd like you to show me how Jesus' friends would have felt when they realised that Jesus was alive. So I want you to dance the most enthusiastically and happily that you possibly can. Fantastic. Nothing better. The best news in the world. Better than having hot cross buns or Easter eggs or an extra holiday. Jesus is alive, and that means that we can be God's friends forever. And we can be his friends and just as happy as his friends were all those years ago. We're going to finish with another great song, which reminds us that Jesus is alive. So do join in with the actions. And remember, this is great news. Not just a long, long time ago for Jesus' first friends, but it's good news for us today.
He's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. He's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy he's given us new birth to a hope that is alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he's alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he is alive. The empty tomb, the stone rolled away, the messengers who say he's alive. Mary cries, Jesus says her name, sees him face to face, he's alive. He's alive, 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 he's alive. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy he's given us new birth to a hope that is alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he's alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he is alive. A long walk home, a stranger breaking bread. Jesus isn't dead, he's alive. The upper room, Jesus hands inside, Thomas can't deny it, he's alive. He's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy he's given us new birth to a hope that is alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he's alive. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, he is alive. He's alive, 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 he's alive.
So that's the end of Kids Club. This time we'll have another one at the beginning of the summer term. And hopefully it won't be too long because before we can all meet together properly. So it's bye-bye from Philip and it's bye-bye from me.